Hello trainers and welcome to Unite Rewind, where I recap the most recent action in Pokemon Unite EU Esports. For now, we're covering Unite Fight Club from Engage GG. The UFC is a player development project that sees the biggest and newest in EU Pokemon Unite compete in league fashion. It offers players grading from a panel of experts, as well as a deep data analytics and social features through an exclusive website to build a thriving community ecosystem. The action happens on a Monday and a Thursday at 9 PM CEST on the Engage GG Twitch and YouTube. This week saw newcomers NoFollow taking on rebound heavyweights Guerrilla Tactics for the first set on Monday. Game 1 was a back and forth for the whole game. Guerrilla Tactics was shut down after they locked in Regidrago for the early game. Mid-game saw them bounce back though, as Guerrilla Tactics takes a few objectives, but NoFollow protects Zante so well that the charge beam devastates any approach Guerrilla Tactics tries to take. Groudon takes the field with NoFollow having a small point lead, but that's broken instantly by Snow scoring. During this though, NoFollow pushed Guerrilla Tactics back to their central area and zoned them out. Zante rips as Marv blocks any approach from Chari King, and NoFollow take game 1. Game 2 sees Klaus step in for NoFollow, and they take the early game with Pawmot being online before the first lane objectives. Guerrilla Tactics moves to defend their bottom lane, while Snow pushes Regieleki into the top lane. Marv puts in an incredible shift on Trevenant in this game. NoFollow rotate very effectively in the mid game, and Klaus brings punishment to Guerrilla Tactics as NoFollow come into Groudon with a sizable score lead. Marv forces Guerrilla Tactics to take a fight they weren't prepared for though, with a brilliant grab onto Kree, forcing the power nap and making Guerrilla Tactics have to go in. Game 2 goes to NoFollow.
Alright, Klaus showing no fear whatsoever as Guerrilla Tactics, mate, they're finding it a hard task to get into that Groudon pit.
Oh, buddy, what a brilliant grab by Marv. It is going to be the Snorlax. They were looking for hopefully more, and now that's how they're going to engage. Phantom Forest is going to come on out. The Fluffy Coon Supreme keeps NoFollow in this fight, and all of a sudden, they've exploded, buddy. Thunderstorm Aerial comes down. Klaus cleans up the rest, and it's none other than Kree to defend against the world as the rip on Groudon comes through. They're so weak as well. Charmander is looking for the KO. There goes the Yarn, and it's not quick enough as NoFollow clean the big green beast yet again. Game 3 is a complete change to the ordinary schedule. NoFollow get an insane comp in Fearless Draft here, having the Suicune, Zoroark, Comfey, Mega Lucario and Garchomp. The game is dominated as Guerrilla Tactics struggle to contain Klaus on Zoroark, and NoFollow come into Groudon with over a 400 point lead. The final fight goes as expected, with NoFollow defeating Guerrilla Tactics with a 3-0 victory, making a statement for the second time in UFC. Next up, we had a fun exhibition match with MTZ Esports taking on Church of Aeos, which is a mixture of pros on this team. This was a best of 3 as an exhibition match, and as we have come to expect with MTZ, they build a brilliant team to enable Amara on the all-rounders. Gyarados is online before the 9-minute mark, and Amara makes Church of Aeos feel it with Aqua Tail. Multiple times it pierces through the teamfight, and Christo on Tinkerton has a difficult time getting online. MTZ show where they struggle though once they hit the Groudon fight. They're not prepared as Amara goes for a back cap with the Lecky walking in, and Church of Aeos ambush the team, taking down MDR and Gary, opening the route to Rip. Church of Aeos take game 1 despite struggling throughout the first 8 minutes. Game 2 sees much of the same. MTZ Esports comes out with a brilliant comp of Pawmot Buzzwole paired with the Suicune and Umbreon for crowd control, and Gardevoir to provide the range damage. Church of Aeos lock in the double Lucario, Mamoswine and Blaziken combo, with John Madu taking up the Alchemy. Out of the gate, MTZ dominate the early to mid game as they hold Church of Aeos to under 100 points until they finally bounce back into the game just before Groudon. The late game proves to be the downfall of MTZ Esports again, as Church of Aeos get a good pick on Knight with the Pawmot and on the back of a brilliant Jormadu Alchemy ult. Almara locks in a double KO, but it just isn't enough as Church of Aeos defends their goals and Christo sneaks a 70 dunk in the top lane. Church of Aeos takes the set 2-0. Thursday kicks off with Komai Esports' brand new roster and their first appearance in UFC as they take on Hyper Gaming. Game 1 saw Hyper Gaming putting in a strong early game with Blissey and Suicune making it hard for Oni to get their final Evo. But once they got it, Hyper Gaming were pushed around. Komai came into the Groudon fight holding Hyper Gaming to a fat 0 on the scoreboard. Komai pushed straight into the central area of Hyper Gaming and find the picks. Unite moves blast through and Hyper Gaming getting wiped one by one. Komai hosts a shutout as Hyper Gaming can't find a way to score any points, and Game 1 goes to Komai Esports. Game 2, and Clem gets a massive early KO on Magikarp and gets Gyarados online at 9:20 in a UFC record.
5 minutes, 58 seconds in the UFC. Can we see quicker? That's a tough one to beat, my friend.
That it is. I'm not sure anybody's going to be able to beat that, buddy. It was impressive, but it's all about getting a KO or an assist for this Magikarp, and you've got to allow your team to do that. Not going to be easy against a Buzzwole in that top lane, buddy, especially with, well, you would expect the Hooper, but right now they're going to put some nuisance onto Oni, and they do find it, as if to prove my point wrong.
No!
It's nearly there at the 920, bro.
9:15. Come on, Magikarp. Give us... Yes! A 9-minute and 12 evolution for the Magikarp! Oh my god!
Komai continue to play very aggressive, but Hyper Gaming have some good moments on the back of the Fire Spin Armor Rouge by Amar, open up space for snipe shots from Patu to come through. Hyper Gaming have a brilliant fight for Lecky at the 4-minute mark and get themselves well back into the game. Nearly acing Komai Esports 30 seconds before Groudon comes in means Hyper Gaming have plenty of level 14s to fight through. Misstep by Amar here though, as they are caught alone on Armor Rouge and Hyper Gaming lose most of their brawl power for the final fight. Komai takes game 2. Game 3 sees Hyper Gaming bringing out the Zorak to respond to Komai's Latios. Ickless gains a crazy amount of stacks going against Draken on Umbreon and Puppa on Alchemy in the bottom lane. Komai take an early lead in points and levels as Hyper Gaming find it very hard to get onto Ickless. Draken has some great pushes to grab Ickless with foul play, but Hyper Gaming don't provide the backup due to Classic shutting down any approach that Hyper tried to take. Komai kick off the Groudon fight with a combo of Unite moves, using the Verdant Anger with an Eon Blast from Ickless, and Hyper are on the back foot. Komai hold Hyper back at their home pad, and Groudon remains untouched. Komai wins the set 3-0. The next set we see is a Spanish standoff as Los Duros take on Los Caducadas. And what a set it is. Game 1 sees Caducadas come out of the gate with 2 speedsters and a very aggressive early game over Duros. Each time Los Duros try to bounce back here, Caducadas find a way to extend their lead again and continue to outlevel them. Caducados get aggressive at Groudon, but a huge power nap by El Toro buys Duros space. Duros regroup and a huge 2-hit yawn onto Jose and Rops opens up the engage for Duros to instantly gain the advantage and find some KOs. And just like that, Los Duros get the Groudon and score 3 hundo burgers to take the win. Los Duros win Game 1. Game 2 sees both teams take identical comp styles with 2 ranged attackers each. This one starts with a brawl from both sides with neither giving much over until Duros lose the Regidrago to a steal and they come into the bottom lane and delete the T1 goal instantly. Caducadas then respond in kind, breaking the top T1 and getting the Lecky to walk in. T2 on the top side of Los Duros is broken with 5:50 left on the clock. Caducados take the lead with a great bottom lane push and they refuse to give it back, taking the Registeel and 3 KOs before they retreat. Caducados come into the Groudon with a Regice buff and higher levels with a point lead and is on brand for Los Caducados. They get really aggressive with a fanciful fireworks in the choke point and wipe out Los Duros in a matter of seconds. They take Groudon and fight it out until the bell is rung and Los Caducados takes Game 2 to bring us tied. Game 3 sees some interesting picks as Ninetales is on the field for Los Duros. But Caducados have Suicune, and in that fight, the legendary comes out on top with more crowd control power in the entire game. Los Duros struggle to find KOs in the early to mid game thanks to Iyami-chan's Suicune freezing them for Jose's Venusaur to blow up with the beam. Leo on the Aegislash manages to limit Oscitar on the Zeraora in this game as the wide guard directly counters them. Despite that though, coming into the late game, and Los Duros have the levels they need, but are 200 points behind. Oscitar has an insane pull on Zera or a discharge here to find the KO onto a Yami, but Los Caducadas respond way too quickly with a Verdant Anger coup de grace and Lapras Express to overwhelm Los Duros, finding KOs onto their carries in the process. Los Caducados take game 3 and bring us to match point. Game 4 kicks off with Los Caducados pulling out the dreaded Zoroark Comfy duo. Despite Jose having a great early game on the Zoro though, Los Duros take an early point lead. Los Caducados finally score their first points as we hit the mid game, and Jose starts to show how difficult it is to deal with Zoroark. Whenever they're not in the fight, Los Duros have the advantage though, and they use that to take quick team fights and a lead. Los Duros come into the final fight with the point lead and Aleki walking into the T2 of the opposition. A rip is brought to Groudon by Bertolo, but it's Alba Noah who secures it, and with more points coming in, Los Caducados can't score enough points in the final minute, and Los Duros take game 4 to bring us to a game 5. The battle rages on in game 5 here, with Los Duros going heavy late game with Garchomp, Charizard and Gardevoir, and Los Caducados come out with the Absol and Inteleon combo for some balance. Jose gets the expected early game here and hits level 9 just after objectives spawn in on the back of a triple KO. Los Duros get a great response back though with a well-timed seismic slam from Luizin to shut down the Unite move from Leo and score 70 points. At mid-game, Los Caducados have a level lead and point lead as they rotate to take the next objectives, and they win the next fight, sending each member of Los Duros back to Nurse Joy. Groudon spawns, and after over a minute of patience, Los Duros finally makes the move. Endless Ice Spikes is used in pair with the Fluffy Cream Supreme to take out Inteleon and Clefable. Los Duros goes for a rip on Groudon, trying to bait Jose in on the Absol, but with only 20 seconds left, they grab Groudon and rush to score Hundo Burgers. It comes down to the final seconds, and they manage to sneak in enough points to take the set with a 3-2 record. Elsewhere in EU Unite Esports, the European League by Unity Clash comes to an end. After 5 months of regular season, group stages and playoff action, Ultimate come out on top as the first ever EUL champions. It was an incredible show with some insane games, and Ultimate proved to be a worthy champion by defeating the enemies in the grand final through a bracket reset.
And the 3 KOs, Ultimate, they are going to be crowned your Grand Finals champions of the EUL.
What an achievement for this team. They have been dominant from day one. They only lost a couple of games, and we saw from the interviews it was when they had subs taking place. But here in the grand finals, they have been at full strength and they have dominated every opponent that they have seen. Ultimate are your EUL champions with a 3-1 victory. They played 11 games and only lost 2, which is an impressive statement. Shivam, the creator of Unity Clash, had this to say about the event. An incredible journey here with the EUL. I feel like I've got a little bit more to see what was going on behind the scenes. You have put in so much effort here. Give us a little bit of a statement on the journey that you've taken to get this all together and working.
Honestly, I love EU. I love these players. Like the bond I have created with these players over like 2 years is just amazing, and I really wanted to do something like this, and shout out to these players like who played every single week, and all the production who were like, oh my goodness, like everyone did so much. Like we are here for like about 7 hours. it's just insane, and at the end of it, I'm kind of shaking right now. It's very emotional to like end this thing.
LFPU returns for Season 5 in EU, a French league created and hosted by Purple, with 10 teams chosen through an open qualifier. On screen you can see the teams taking part, and here are the highlighted teams that are my top 3 teams to watch in EU. Ultimate are fresh off a victory in the 5-month-long EUL, and already seen as one of the best in the region, but they've added ex-Nouns players Gatlu and Adesu to their ranks, seeing their stocks go through the roof. Secondly, BRZ Corpo takes players from UFC's #1 squad no-follow. With Klaus leading this roster and Jean Madou on support, this is a squad not to be reckoned with. Finally, BH3 is back with a new roster, and boy, is it a good one. Effectively the Gen 5 roster from last season, who were already considered top 3. This squad has brilliant synergy and some of the best players in EU. Keep an eye on Utah, whether it's defenders or speedsters, they are a tough player to beat. Week 1 has just blown past, and these are the results of the games. BH3, Ultimate, Rework Esport Core, Les Stash and Le Begorno take their first set wins. Hit that sub button as we will be covering the next week's games in more detail in the next episode. That's all for this week. UFC is on a rest week for now, but will return on the 27th of October for more insane action, and keep a close eye on the Unity Clash's Twitter for the next news. Have a great morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, trainers. See you on the next one.